The Shadowbound Kingdom. The kingdom of Elarion was a place where shadows were more than mere silhouettes cast by light. Shadows in Elarion had lives of their own, moving independently of their owners at times. Elena, the young ruler of the kingdom, had always found her shadow a loyal companion. One evening, while she stood by her throne, her shadow suddenly began to move in ways she did not command. At first, she thought it was a trick of the light, but the shadow's movements grew sinister. Talia, her trusted advisor, noticed the shift and urged her to consult the kingdom's mages. Kade, a shadow mage, was summoned and quickly identified the source of the disturbance. "Your shadow has been possessed," Kade said grimly, studying the eerie movements it made. Elena felt a chill. This wasn't just a magical mishap, it was the work of an ancient evil. Neris, a dark entity long banished, had somehow infiltrated Elena's shadow to reclaim the kingdom. Elena's heart raced as she realized her kingdom's fate was tied to her own shadow. Determined to reclaim her shadow, Elena prepared for a journey to the heart of shadow magic. "You must travel to the Shadowveil, where the boundary between shadow and light is thin," Kade advised. Armed with little more than her wits and Kade's knowledge, Elena set off into the unknown. The journey was perilous, with shadows in the wild acting as spies for Neris's growing influence. As they ventured deeper into the Shadowveil, Elena felt her shadow growing more rebellious. At times, it pulled at her, trying to drag her into the darkness it had embraced. "Stay focused," Kade reminded her, "you are still the master of your shadow, even if it resists." The landscape around them darkened, with twisting trees and creeping shadows watching every step. Talia, ever loyal, kept close, her own shadow flickering nervously in response to their surroundings. As they neared the heart of the Shadowveil, Elena could sense Neris's presence more strongly. The air was heavy with magic, and every breath felt like inhaling the weight of the past. "We must confront Neris here, in this place where the veil between worlds is weakest," Kade explained. Elena's shadow began to speak in Neris's voice, mocking her with dark promises of power. "Give in, and I will grant you the strength to rule without fear," the shadow hissed. But Elena refused to yield, knowing that power without control would destroy her kingdom. As the final confrontation approached, Elena could feel the pull of darkness growing stronger. She closed her eyes, centering herself, remembering the balance between light and shadow. Neris emerged from the shadow, a twisted figure formed from the blackest depths of magic. "You cannot control what you do not understand," Neris whispered, circling Elena menacingly. Elena stood her ground, her heart racing, but her resolve unbroken by Neris's words. Kade began a chant, calling on the ancient magic that bound shadows to their rightful owners. Neris's form flickered as Kade's magic took hold, but it wasn't enough to banish him. "This is your fight, Elena," Kade said, "you must reclaim your shadow yourself." Elena reached deep within herself, summoning the strength she never knew she had. She extended her hand toward her shadow, feeling the connection between them rekindle. Neris shrieked as Elena's will surged, forcing the ancient evil to retreat. "I will return," Neris warned, his form dissolving into the darkness as he was banished. Elena collapsed, exhausted but victorious, her shadow once again moving with her command. The kingdom's shadows, once restless, began to settle, their wild movements calming. Elena stood, feeling the weight of her victory and the newfound control over her shadow. Kade approached her, nodding in approval, "You've mastered what few rulers ever do." Talia rushed to her side, relief flooding her face as she saw Elena was unharmed. "The battle is won, but the shadows will always be with us," Elena said, knowing her duty. They returned to Elarion, where the people had felt the disturbance and awaited their return. Elena stood before them, her shadow moving perfectly in sync once more, a symbol of balance. Our kingdom has faced darkness, but we emerge stronger, Elena proclaimed to her people. The people cheered, but they knew the danger had only been delayed, not defeated. Elena began to study shadow magic with Kade, determined to strengthen her control. She spent hours learning the intricacies of the shadows that had once threatened her rule. The bond between her and her shadow grew stronger, more unified than ever before. Neris's threat still lingered in the corners of her mind, but she refused to let fear guide her. "We will be ready when he returns," Elena said quietly, knowing the battle was far from over. The kingdom of Ilarion flourished under her rule, with shadows now a tool of unity, not fear. Elena's shadow stood as a reminder of the balance between light and darkness. Her people trusted her, knowing she had faced the darkest parts of herself and won. The shadows, once feared, were now a symbol of protection, of what the kingdom could overcome. Elena's reign became a legend, with her shadow by her side, a loyal companion once again. In the years to come, the kingdom remained ever watchful, for shadows would always dance at the edge of the light.